I get it. Well, she should have made this video. Like,
Did you say should or shouldn't?
should have.
Oh, okay.
I think that she's a public figure who ran for something, and a lot of people feel upset about America right now. I'm not, this video, I didn't see it shared a bunch. Like, I don't think it was like a huge moment, but it was like, I understand where like she would just need something to like bookmark. Okay, that election is over. Moving forward, here's what I think, how I want to play a role, and that's what that video was about. And I know she had her concession speech. I didn't really hear her say,
what do you think she said that she's gonna do? I mean, she's not in government.
She said she's gonna still work with the Democratic Party.
What does that mean?
But like, why are you shitting on her? Because what you just,
what does that
hold
mean?
on, what you just said, what you just asked, like, should she? I just think if she left it ambiguous for a reason, because it's not. Because I do think that other people need to step up. I don't think she should be the face of the Democratic Party anymore. I think her time, she did a lot of great work for us. Move on. I think there are younger people who we need to focus on now, or those people who, she even says it in the video, of like, who will be your next mayor? Who, like, we have to rethink about Democratic policies and where they're starting, and those are in our community. So like, how, like, I don't know, just the celebrity of these big politicians is not. She's not saying all this, but like, who cares about Hillary Clinton? Like, I want to know who my alderman is.
But why is she? Why is she? That's my whole point. I think the reason I hate her is I don't really hate her. The reason I dislike her so much is kind of that attitude. It's like, that's the whole point, is like, I think we have moved on. I don't think we need you to be like, you guys can move on now. And I think that was her whole thing of being in, like, I think that's why her campaign was so shitty. It was
just a video.
But it was like, a whole campaign of like, well, clearly it is my turn now, so I will be president, and I don't have to really try. Like, she just tried to stumble into it. And that's the whole, like,
I just don't think that is an accurate read of her.
But that's the whole point. It's like, we've had a march. The whole world marched right after the election. And where was she? Nowhere. So that's the whole point of, like, we will move on. It's like, yeah, we did. We don't need you. Like, that's the whole point. Dude, it's politics. It's business.
I just
like,
don't know why you're so angry about her.
I'm not angry. It
feels like it.
I'm just over. Like, it's just like, get out of here. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's not about you. Like, that's the thing. It's not about you. It's about the people in this country.
I don't think that video was making it about her.
It is, because you put yourself into the public sphere to do what? To just talk bland nonsense that means it. Like, you're not in politics. Like, you don't, like, you're not a senator. Like, you're not like, okay, I lost presidency, I'm back to being a senator, or I'm back to being this. You're nothing. You're a citizen. So what are you doing now? You're just Madonna now. You're just a celebrity that believes in democratic principles.
She made a video that was, anyone could have made a video that said, let's persist. But you're like so angry about it because it's her. I just don't, I feel.
Because why?
Why not? She just ran for president.
But that's my whole point. That's the point. That's the whole point, is like, you lost. I mean, that's the whole point, is like, these are politicians. Like, we say it so much, but we hardly follow through. Like, you work for us, and we're your boss, and the government should be afraid of their people. Brr, 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 brr.
She's an icon to a lot of people.
Okay, but the point is, that's the whole point, is like, you're just you are a cog that I pick which cog I think will make the machine work better. We're not friends. I know you don't care about me, so I'm not going to be one of those idiots that puts up the delusion that I care about you. I don't. Like, you lost. Like, I'm the coach. This is the team. You're the wide receiver with the torn ACL. Get off the bench. Get off the sidelines. We need to fill your spot with a better player.
I mean, it's not like she is trying to force herself into the head of the Democratic Party, Justin. She just made a video.
Do a press conference. You do a video. It goes up on BuzzFeed. Of course, everyone's going to see it. Do a little press conference. Do a little town hall. I don't know. Do some. You're putting yourself into the national dialogue. Get out of here. No one wants you.
Dude,
stop it.
I think.
Why?
Stop. I think that you are making this about your opinion of her, where that's just totally.
How is it my opinion of her when she lost the election? Clearly, it's the opinion of most of the country.
It's not.
Even if she lost the popular vote, it's still 49% of the country doesn't like her.
You're defending it so hard because, like, there are so many people who do like her, and she's a figure Justin, and she made a video that said, "Keep fighting. I will be there with you." Like, why is that something to like be so upset
Because
about?
now the only thing you can,
I just don't understand the rage.
because you're not in political power. So the only thing you can really do to fight with us is vote. You're like now our equal. You can make a vote. You can make a sign. So it's like,
I mean, that's not true at all. I think that she was on the front lines and lost and faced that loss, and now she knows better than anyone what she went through and can help us in 2020 not experience the same thing. How do we unite the party?
but I'm saying she lost. She lost on such an epic level. Like, that's not what no one wants to. No one wants to admit. She lost to the most easily beatable candidate for president in decades.
I mean, I think that you saying that is exactly why Trump won. You're underestimating what the people who voted for him feel and wanted from his candidacy. It wasn't about Donald Trump. It was about them, the economics of it. You know what I mean? Like, they feel it wasn't. I don't think it was Hillary. I think Hillary Clinton is like the Democrat that they did not want, right? Like, they would have they could have gone for someone else, but because it was her, they didn't. But like, I know how this is what I've struggled with personally. I am such a Democrat that I don't think I could ever vote Republican, even if I didn't like. I mean, I don't think we'd ever put up as much of an asshole joke as Trump, but like, I get it. Like, I get why you would vote along a party line, because you, especially if the person on the other side is someone you didn't.
But that's my
been
point.
In politics
You're
for
still
years
losing. You're still losing people on your party line, and they're either voting third party or not voting. All right, and that's my point. Is that she's the reason. She is the face of Democratic failure. If you're her, that's what I'm speaking to her. That's why why are you so angry at her?
Yeah,
I'm angry at her because it's like
you
should
didn't even vote, Justin. This
I know.
woman like ran for president.
But that's my whole
I just think
point.
it's bullshit that you're like.
But that's my whole
so
point.
Enraged and like, I don't know, feel sort of
That's my whole point. If you
self-righteous about
can't get
telling her
me
to
out,
stop.
if
And
you
it's
can't
like,
get me out to the polls, that's your fault.
No, it's your fault.
That's
that you
your
didn't
fault.
go vote when you're.
Yeah,
you
'cause
could have voted for
give
her
me
or
something to
someone
vote
else,
for.
dude. Fuck you for saying you just said that like the most laughable candidate just ran for president and won the
And
presidency.
you couldn't make me go out and vote against him. That's how bad you are. That's the point.
You shit all over her when she ran against that laughable candidate
And
you
lost.
couldn't even get out and vote.
But my point is, she lost.
You're the problem.
But that's my point. You have to get me into the car. I can't walk onto the Volkswagen dealership and be like, you didn't even buy a car. It's like, I came in here wanting to buy a car and you couldn't get me in one. How bad of a salesman are you?
This is my problem with your entire argument of not voting and of why you're so upset that she even made a video in the first place and didn't just go hide with her tail between her legs. She is proactive. She ran for president. You, as a citizen, need to be proactive as well, and you weren't. You decided not to vote because you were being proactive in another way. You thought not voting was an act of patriotism in its own way. I get that, but how dare you say that it's her fault that she didn't win?
Because my point is, like, the reason the point I'm making though, but the point I'm making is that the reason she lost is because she was an awful candidate and a face of the Democratic Party that no one wants the Democratic Party to be anymore. Just let me finish, please. Just let me finish.
She was not an awful candidate.
She lost. It's not subjective. There's objective results. No one voted for her. That doesn't make her
an awful candidate, Justin, just because she lost.
Well, what's the bellwether for candidate then?
If you
winning
win
or losing?
That doesn't make you an awful candidate.
Then what is it? I mean, that's like saying like, well, we can't judge what football team's better or worse by how the game turns out. I mean, what other bellwether is there besides how you do in the election? My point is, I just feel if you're saying
her decades of experience, Justin.
But my point is, if it's
just because she lost doesn't mean she was a terrible candidate and never should have run for president. And people, it's not like she placed herself there. People voted for her to be in that position to run for the Democratic Party.
Okay, that's fine. And it's just like you said, but that's over now. I didn't tell her to quit the race. I'm just saying now, run the race better. You had all the way up until election day to run it better. And all you want to do is blame racism, blame some guy that releases something the week of the election. No personal responsibility. Just everyone's fault but mine. My point is it's just like Jimmy Carter, right? How often does he release a video saying he's with us? Never. You know why? Because he's building his 8 millionth house for some poor kid. So that's my point. Go to fucking do stuff. Why do you need to release a video? Just go do it. Just go do it. Like I said, you're not a public official anymore. Just go do the shit. Why do you have to be out there? Just go do it. That's why you're saying, like, why does it ratchet me up to the level of angry at her? Because it's not about you. So that's my point of, like, okay, you're with us. Okay, well, if you just if there's just news footage of you walking at a march or speaking at a march or building a house for a poor kid or whatever, if there's just footage of you doing that, people will be like, oh, looks like she's with us. But you releasing a video is just like, hey, don't forget, I'm Hillary Clinton and I'm still a celebrity. Or whatever. It's weird, narcissistic bullshit.
I think that's so subjective because I didn't get that read on it at all when I watched that video, and it's perplexing to me. Although this entire her and Donald Trump, it's perplexing to me that I can see one person one way, and you can see them the complete opposite. I see it as she has a team of people who run her life, right? Like her social media presence. I work in these fields. It is not her filming, setting up the video, push and play, and recording herself. Like, people play on this stuff. I don't deny that. She did that. She's also doing other things, like working and doing Jimmy Carter level shit.
Is she?
How do you know she's not?
How do you know she is?
Exactly.
But I'm not claiming it. You're the one claiming it.
I'm not claiming it, Justin. But you just claimed that she's not doing that stuff.
Well, I haven't seen it. That's why I was just saying there's an absence of any.
Also, like, I think that, again, like, I'm tired of talking about her like she's a monster, because she's not.
I'm just tired of talking about her in general.
Then why'd you bring her up?
Because she injected herself. That's my whole point. We do topics of the week, right? That's our whole show premise.
Yeah.
I can't look through the news of the week to find topics without running across this dumb video. So that's my point. And dude, I know there's a PR team. I'm not dumb, but I'm just saying there is still. Even in 2017, of everything manufactured and everything goes through 8 fucking CEOs before it sees the light of day, even in that culture, you're still an autonomous human being, and you still have the right to go, nah, this is a bad idea, bye. Like I said, you're not a congressman, you're not a candidate, you're not nothing. You're a private citizen. So there's no responsibility to constituents. There's no responsibility to the media. There's nothing. Just go away.
Okay. Well, that's your view on it. And my view on watching it was, a part of me was like, yeah, cool. Like, but also, like, that's just not my focus anymore. I want to focus on what's happening in my community, in my life. How can I change that, right? I think anyway. But I also was like, hell yeah, Hillary. Like, that's a class act. And, like, I thought it was a good representation right now when the progressives we're all just losing our goddamn minds, and there's so much, like, we don't know how to handle it, right? And, like, I have felt very, like, online, at least social media wise, which is how we express ourselves politically now, really, is like I have felt very not shut down but withdrawn. Like, I just want to watch it because I know how I feel. Like, I'll like posts, but I don't share much. I try not to, not because I feel intimidated, but because I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, just sort of a shock, but also this, like, I don't want to fight. Like, I don't think it's going to be made better by saying terrible things about the people I disagree with online. I am alarmed. I'm stressed out about this. Like, I get it. I feel the same way. But I also, like, I remember what it felt like to have people in my feed being like, Obama's not my president. What a fucking monster. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. But, like, so how do I find this balance? Okay. That video, whether you like her or not, that was the most embarrassing loss, I think, in my memory of, like, that was so
since Golden State
hard.
Dropping that 3-1 lead.
Or the Indians.
Don't bring up that one.
Okay, so, like, that was heartbreaking. And, like, I think she has been, her and Obama both represented this, and fucking Joe Biden just is on a whole other level of my support and love. But, like, just the way that they handled losing and, like, moving forward. I like their rhetoric. I like the way Obama's farewell speech was. I could, like, print that out. But like,
where has he been?
So, okay.
On vacation. Go away. You're not president anymore.
I
You're
know,
never
but
going to be.
Justin,
And I've said that I think he is going to
finish. She hasn't had a chance. I mean, she had her concession speech, but that's a whole other thing you're trying to accomplish in there. This is her like I said, the bookmark of like, okay, that's over, moving forward. Who knows? I feel like now I would agree with you if she kept reappearing with new videos every week. Then I'd be like, get out of here. But
I
like,
can see it happening. And like
okay,
I said,
we'll see.
We'll
but
see.
You want to put money on it? I don't think she will.
I have said, I think on this podcast, that I think Barack Obama could, should, and I would say will, like that would be I think Vegas odds is he will become like the next great black leader of the African American community. I think he'll be a fucking beast as a private citizen. I think what you saw in the last year of his presidency, just that when he was free in that office, but he's still the president. I think is a preview of like when I'm truly free, when I'm just a private citizen and I can do whatever I want. I'm going to say real, honest, cool shit. I'm going to take real, honest, cool action, and I'm going to be like a real fucking force, like something we haven't had since like the civil rights era.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I think that's possible. And for her, I'm not saying that's not possible, but to me, as much as Barack Obama got me to vote twice. I voted for him twice.
Oh, that got you out of your...
That got me out of my seat.
Good for him. You voted during those elections? I thought you hadn't voted in a while.
I mean, I haven't voted since the last presidential, 2012. I haven't voted since then.
Oh.
Yeah. So my point is if he came on and had a video where he was like, I'm with you guys, and so I would be like, I don't care. At least you're not a fucking loser. At least you're a two-time champion. She's a loser.
You're such a dick.
I'm not saying a loser like Donald Trump.
You
lose.
are.
You'll lose. I'm saying
sound a lot
you
like
lost.
him.
But that's my point is like, that's my point. Like when you fire the coach of your baseball team or your football team or the manager of your baseball team, you don't want them on TV being like, hey, Broncos, I'm still with you guys. I know we had all those 2-14 seasons. I'm still with you guys. When Jay Cutler leaves the Bears, they don't want him on TV hey, Bears, I'm still with you guys. Whatever you guys need from me. And it's like, dude, we needed a quarterback, and you haven't been one for the last 3 seasons. That's the whole point. It's like, we needed a candidate who could beat the most clownish candidate to ever run for presidency. We needed you to just not even trounce him, just goddamn beat him. And you couldn't do that. Stop. Like, we don't need you anymore. Like, it's a business. Hillary Clinton's not your friend. And I think, again, like we talked about like last week, like millennials, corporations aren't your friends. Like that woman, like last week with sexual harassment, how she handled that so perfectly because she didn't take it personal. She kept it official. Even when she got super emotional, rightfully so, she kept it in the fucking pocket of the argument. Same thing. I just see all these, and it's like you said, I get it. Good for women in America that they have a female presidential candidate to kind of project onto and feel that, but the rhetoric makes it like she doesn't care about you. She doesn't care about you. She's a rich white person that has been in public office for decades.
It's kind of offensive.
She's not your friend.
Like condescending that you're like, she's not your friend. I know she's not my friend. I can still like her. Like, I hate when people do that with Beyonce, too. They're like, Beyonce wouldn't give 2 shits about you. It's like, I know that. Just because I like them doesn't mean that I
would never say that about Beyonce.
That's
the different thing. I would never say that about a Beyonce fan.
Why are you saying that about Hillary Clinton, then?
Because Beyonce's just an entertainer. My point is, like there's this idea that you owe... Like, my point is, if Beyonce puts out a bad album, you're not going to listen to it because that's the agreement you have with Beyonce. It's like, I like your music or whatever, and you're dancing and your performance. But if those slip off, I'm going to stop listening to you. That's our agreement, is that as long as you make stuff I like, I will be your fan. But there's this weird thing about Hillary Clinton where it seems like, well, we don't care that you lost. We're friends. And it's like, I'm sorry, I do care that you lost so fantastically, that you lost in such an upset after you lost 2 times to a person in your own party.
You're making huge assumptions about the people who still like her. Like, I don't have that reaction. You just like put words in. I just think your argument is so dumb. I think you're putting words in the mouths of the people who either promoted or shared that
I
video.
admit that I'm using anecdotal evidence, but I've seen a lot of people just have this affinity for her, where it's like, even like with someone like Barack Obama, who I voted for, which says a lot for me. Like, I was very critical of his presidency throughout, and in hindsight, I'm critical of it. Yeah, so that's my whole point. I just feel like her supporters, and I'm not saying there's no Barack Obama supporters that do this, but I haven't seen really anyone, to be perfectly honest, at least on the Democratic side, that has been allowed to kind of float on this cloud when it's like, dude, you lost to someone in your own party 8 years ago. You lost to a clown now. And then after that, you kind of disappear, which is fine. But then, like, a lot of stuff has happened since you're gone. And now you kind of, like, that's not...
I don't think her supporters see it as... I mean, it's not totally her fault. It's a multifaceted problem, Justin. She lost for a lot of reasons. I don't think you can just be like, it's her fault.
It's the Democratic Party's fault, but to me, she is really like, she's the face of that era. She's like the last face of that era.
New party, right? Or
yes.
like, if not a new party, like we need to take a note from the Tea Partiers as far as like interjecting ourselves into. They interjected themselves in the Republican Party and changed it. That's what we have to do with the Democrat
Right,
Party.
but that's my point. Is like this. She's so entrenched. It's like you just got to be honest with her. You don't got to be mean. You got to be like, look, sweetheart. Just kidding.
Oh,
just kidding.
Jesus.
I knew I wasn't going to be able to get out
my microphone at you.
I knew for the sake of that joke I wouldn't even be able to get out my fucking point. But I was like, oh, it's so worth it. She'll get so mad. But my point is, sit her down and be like, ma'am, thank you for your service, but you can't move on with us. You're too entangled in a whole image that we can't be a part of. People know that you're so entangled in this old, awful Democratic structure that they slanted the primaries so you could win them. Like, no one's going to forget that. No one's going to forget that that's the kind of bureaucracy you're entrenched in. And that bureaucracy has failed us. It'd be different if they slanted the thing towards you and then you won in a landslide. Then it'd be like, hey, at least you're leading us down the right path, because I don't mind people in power making decisions if they think it's great. But it's clear you made a decision based on, you know, just the fact that, well, she's been there, it's her turn, and then it failed you. It's not like you were like, guys, I know you want this, but this is going to win, and then she won, and then be like, hey, kudos. You know better. That's why you're in the fucking politics. I'm not. But you didn't know better. You played it dumb. You're just a face of just stuff people don't want anymore. You're just an analog party in a digital society.
I agree with you in some sense, but I will defend her in certain regards that I think you're too hard on her about. But yes, I do agree that, like, when I watched that video, I was kind of like, ah, fucking whatever. Because I'm just tired of the talk like that. Like, I want to know, okay, speaking of Joe Biden, like, after the election when he was talking about what the Democratic Party needs to do, and he was like, he got choked up talking about why he's a Democrat, and he's like, we're the party for the people, for the little guy, for the worker. That's, like, what the Democrats are about, right? And like, that's me too. Like, I was like, Joe Biden, yes, like, I agree with you. That's what I see when I think of Democratic policies, right? And hold on,
okay,
I just like and he was saying we need to take it back and get on the streets. And Obama said similar shit where it's like, we need to go back and like do the work to show people, like, this is why you vote for us, because we are looking out for you. Like, I think there was so much shock among progressives that were like, why are these poor people voting Republican? Why are they doing beyond the social issues? You know what I mean? Like, for economic reasons, when like to me, the Democrats are who are going to protect you, right? We want to raise minimum wage. We want to get, have these social programs for the people living in poverty. Like, that's kindness. That is, to me, that's what I want to be a part of, and what I feel like they're saying they are. And it's like, no, you're not. So, okay, so resist, persist, progressive. Those just junk language. Yes, yeah. I totally agree with you. I'll defend Hillary Clinton, but like, yeah, I'm fucking tired of talking like that. I want to go and like help make those policies happen. I want to volunteer. I want to do that work. That's right. The kind of work that, like, the
But have you seen one instance where she can talk not like that? In her whole... Exactly. That's why it's like,
yes,
go.
During like interviews when she's not put on the spot. I know. I get it.
That's all I'm saying.
But
I'm just
saying
the future can't exist.
I feel like you're so hard on her when it's an unfair...
But here's the point. Here's why it's not cruel. Because it'd be different if she was like 45, 50, and she had this whole life ahead of her. And then it's like, well, what do you want her to do, Justin? It's like, dude, she's a grandma. She's got a husband. They got billions of dollars. Just go retire. thank you for your service.
Or
I'm not.
no, I mean, no,
Just
don't
go
don't
enjoy
just
the rest.
disappear, but
But
she
my
could
point is, you
volunteer,
got
like,
10
use her
more years
knowledge.
on this planet. Like, no one's aching to have you squeeze that out into the public sector. Just enjoy your life.
I
We'll
mean,
be
some
fine
people
without
are.
you.
Some Hillary
We'll be
diehards.
fine without you. That's my whole point is, like, you did your time. You did some good things. You did some pathetic things. But thank you. Bye.
Dude, we love you. You were awesome.
Not those things for me, but bye.
And
It's so frustrating.
I do think though I agree with you in the sense that like there are new conversations we as a party need to be having. There are things about where were we watching that? Was it on PBS? The like there was interviews with like 2 young Democratic governors who were like, yeah, like we need to work to get like we have to stop fighting internally about who is more right among the Democrats. Like there will be I'll post in the show notes. There's some article about how like Rahm Emanuel is like a dick, right? But like he's a smart Democrat. We got to work with him. Do you know what I mean? Like because of all of our fighting internally, like we're so fragmented that we're not passing things.
People do hate him as mayor of Chicago.
He's
well, and that's the whole point, right? That's the, you know the line that got like a lot of flack from Donald Trump in the campaign that I honestly think was probably the only sentient thing he said. I think he just honestly did it by accident. I can't give him credit for being like, this is good. Well, he probably did think like this is great, but didn't even think it for the right reasons. But still, it was one thing that he said. People went, oh my God. And I went, no, that is what is going to cost the Democrats the election right there. It was one line. It was when he was before that group of people and he said, black people, what do you got to lose? And everyone's like, oh my God, can you believe he said that? And it's like, what do they have to lose? Like we live in Chicago, failing public schools, failing public housing, the most segregated northern city in all of the country. You know, you might if you look at the segregation and you didn't know where we were, you'd be like, are you in like Mississippi? I'm like, no, we're in blue Chicago. And all the black people live one place, all the white people live another place, and we have a Democratic mayor. That's my whole point. So that's when he said that. Now, would I say black people should vote for Donald Trump? Probably not. But the sentiment of what do you have to lose, and then what do I hear from Hillary about what they have to lose? Nothing. Just how he grabs pussies and he seems like a dick. We all know he's a dick. We all assume all billionaires grab pussies without asking. This is stuff. Everything that was brought out about him, we could assume for any old white dude billionaire. We could assume that. So it's like, wait, he grabs pussies and doesn't really care about people that aren't him? It's like, yeah, I would have guessed that. I already assumed that. That's why it's not shocking to me, because it's like, not because I'm okay with it, just because like, yeah, I assumed he's raped 12-year-olds. I assume that's what billionaires do. Like, you could tell me like he's raped a lot of 12-year-olds. I'd be like, yeah, I already kind of like counted that in for my opinion of him. So you're not like adding new stuff to this. So I assume there's a bunch of boys in Thailand that know a lot of billionaires' names. Like, I just assume that's how the world works.
What people were offended about the black people thing was like, not all black people have nothing to lose.
But the point is, that is the Democratic Party's shortcoming, is the Republicans are so bad that these women, these gays, these people of color, they're just going to vote for us anyway, so we don't really have to like give them anything. Because what are you going to do, vote Republican? Nah. There's that soft racism on the left that doesn't get talked about enough. And it's the soft racism of, you know, they won't paint it this way, but at this state in our country, it's really the soft racism of like, where else are you going to go, guys? Over there? They hate you there. At least we placate you here. We're going to actually do programs to help you? Nah. Probably do programs that are almost as bad as what they do. Because we serve private interests. It's not that we hate you. We're not racist. You're just not Goldman Sachs, so we don't really care about you. Hey, to be fair, black people, us in the Democratic Party, we don't really care about poor white people either. So if that makes you feel any better, we'd love your vote in November. Thank you for coming. And that's the whole point. Is like, you know, I think the party is too fragmented. I think even for me, it's a little bit radicalized, but I like it. I like seeing Black Lives Matter people kind of connecting themselves to the party. I like seeing, you know, even feminists who I think, you know, but it's the same thing. I think both those movements are like a little too radicalized, but I would rather have that voice. I think that voice is closer to right than the old style of voice of Hillary Clinton. So my point is, even if I don't agree with every Black Lives Matter statement, every feminist statement, I like it way more than I like the old guard. Way more. So my point is, their voice is so different from her voice that's when you have to kind of aggressively. I'm not trying to be mean, and I don't hate her. There's no emotional hate towards Hillary Clinton. It's passion you hear in my voice, not like hate. I don't hate her. It's just a passionate, like, your time is done. You need to stop. We're so past this. You want to be the first woman president? Listen to what women are saying now. It's nothing like what you're saying. You want to help people of color? Listen to what they're saying. They're saying things that you haven't brought up in the last 20 years. You called them super predators 14 years ago, and now you want their vote?
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah.
I mean, you can't, and that's fine. That's what you had to call them to win in 92. I understand why you did it. You're a politician. You made the political move. The country was a different place. You needed to call them that to win. All right? That's fine. Again, politics is politics. It's a dirty game. I'm not mad at you, but don't come to me in 2017 like you can still play the game that we're playing now. You can't. You tore your political ACL. You've outgrown the game. Move on. We'll see you at the Hall of Fame induction. You know what I mean? But until then, just enjoy your life. Play with your grandkid. Leave us alone.
Hello, Democrats. Thank you all for coming together to represent our party at its best. United, energized, and ready to wage and win the battles ahead. Now, as Democrats, we have diverse views and backgrounds. We are Democrats, after all. But we're bound together by the values and hopes we share for our country. I'm grateful for all your support and hard work during the election. Being your candidate was the honor of a lifetime. And I was inspired to see women and men from all walks of life and every corner of our country coming together on behalf of our shared values. And while we didn't get the outcome we worked so hard for, I'll always be proud of the campaign we ran, a campaign that was better and stronger thanks to each of you. After the primaries, we came together as a party to write the most progressive platform in history. Ideas we championed are now inspiring leaders and activists across our country. Nearly 66 million votes are fueling grassroots energy and activism. And everywhere, people are marching, protesting, tweeting, speaking out, and working for an America that's hopeful, inclusive, and big-hearted. From the Women's March to airports where communities are welcoming immigrants, refugees, and people of every faith, to town hall meetings where people are speaking up for health care, the environment, good jobs, and all the other issues that deserve our passionate support. Among those millions making their voices heard are future mayors, city and state officials, governors, members of Congress, even future presidents. The challenges we face as a party and a country are real. So now more than ever, we need to stay engaged, in the field and online, reaching out to new voters, young people, and everyone who wants a better, stronger, fairer America. We as Democrats must move forward with courage, confidence, and optimism, and stay focused on the elections we must win this year and next. Let resistance plus persistence equal progress for our party and our country. Thank you to the leaders who've already done so much, beginning with Barack and Michelle Obama. Thanks as well to Donna and the DNC leadership, and to the outstanding bench of Democrats stepping up to lead us forward. As long as we stand together and work together, with respect for our differences, strengthen our convictions, and love for our country, our best days are still ahead. So keep fighting and keep the faith. And I'll be right there with you every step of the way. God bless you and God bless America.